Buhler Mennonite Church's mission statement, adopted in 2008, clearly names a major reason to exist as educating through the Word. In its 100 years of ministry, educating through the Word has been primarily accomplished through Sunday school, midweek activities, and vacation Bible school. Contrary to possible myth, Sunday school has not been around since the creation of the earth. In fact, Sunday school is a fairly new innovation in the story of the Christian church. It is important to realize that Sunday schools were originally literally schools. They were places where poor children could learn to read. The Sunday school movement began in Great Britain in the 1780s. The Industrial Revolution had resulted in many children spending all week long working in factories. Christian philanthropists wanted to free these children from a life of illiteracy. Well into the 19th century, working hours were long. The first modest legislative restrictions came in 1802. This resulted in limiting the number of hours a child could work per day to 12. This limit was not lowered again until 1844. Moreover, Saturday was part of the regular work week. Sunday, therefore, was the only available time for these children to gain some education. Sunday school soon spread to America as well. Denominations and non-denominational organizations caught the vision and energetically began to create Sunday schools. Within a decade, the movement had become extremely popular. By the mid-19th century, Sunday school attendance was a near universal aspect of childhood. Even parents who did not regularly attend church themselves generally insisted that their children go to Sunday school. Working-class families were grateful for this opportunity to receive an education. They also looked forward to annual highlights such as prize days, parades, and picnics, which came to mark the calendars of their lives as much as more traditional seasonal holidays. Wheaton College professor Timothy Larson observed the following trend, quote, "In both Britain and America, universal compulsory state education was established by the 1870s. After that, reading and writing were learned on weekdays at school, and the Sunday school curriculum was limited to religious education. Nevertheless, many parents continued to believe that regular Sunday school attendance was an essential component of childhood. The trend for permissive parenting in the 1960s, however, meant that a widespread culture of insisting that children go to Sunday school whether they wanted to or not, especially when the parents were not themselves going to church, was abandoned." End of quote. When the Buhler Mennonite Church founders moved from South Russia to Kansas, religious education was central, but Sunday school was not a ministry. In fact, children often did not attend Sunday morning church services until well into grade school. Religious instruction included private Bible schools in the homes of church leaders, catechism, preparatory schools like Hoffnungsau Preparatory School, and homeschooling. At Buhler Mennonite Church's 50th anniversary program held in 1970, Reverend P.K. Regier gave a presentation entitled Hoffnungsau, the Mother Church, in which he reflected on the role of Sunday school from the time Buhler Mennonite Church foreparents moved to Kansas. Quote, "At the time of the organization of the Hoffnungsau congregation, the need for a Sunday school was not yet recognized. However, religious instruction was given on Sunday afternoons in local public school buildings. Bible and the German language were also taught in public schools on weekdays, usually in the morning until the first recess. Not too much later, a well-organized Sunday school developed and became part of the regular Sunday morning worship services. I well remember a preschool-age class held in the north balcony in the Low German language." End of quote. The Hoffnungsau, and thereby the Buhler Mennonite Church Sunday school program, was organized 36 years after the Mennonites arrived in the Buhler area. Other Christian groups had offered Sunday school for much longer. Why the wait? Reverend A.J. Dick surmised, quote, The Sunday school was introduced later because the Mennonites as a whole have been very careful at all times to introduce something new, and when Sunday school was used by other denominations, they were slow to introduce it into our church." End of quote. In 1913, Hoffnungsau Mennonite Church built the Buhler Mennonite Church. Mr. C.H. Friesen was instrumental in the organization of the Sunday school program at Buhler Mennonite Church and served as the first superintendent. Because the first Buhler Mennonite Church building did not have a basement, Sunday school classes were held in the sanctuary. According to the late Buhler Mennonite Church member Martha Wiens, a canvas-type fabric was hung on wires which were strung across the sanctuary to separate it into classrooms. When the Sunday school was not in session, the curtains were pushed against the wall. The balcony was also used for Sunday school classes. For 40 years, C.H. Friesen taught the men's classes, and P.P. Schmidt was the teacher for the children's classes. In 1927, the existing wood-frame church building was completed. This building had a basement, where again curtains were used to divide the space into separate classrooms. Many people remember having children's Sunday school classes in the upper rooms located at the front of the church to either side of the sanctuary in the choir loft. These classrooms were removed when the sanctuary was remodeled in 1980. In 1995, Buhler Mennonite Church missionary Paul Friesen recounted, quote, "If I remember right, our beginners' Sunday school class met in the converted coal room in the northwest corner of the basement. Most likely it was considered a place where 5 to 6-year-olds could not do any damage. And does anyone remember Calvin Reimer? He did a marvelous job one Sunday of telling the story of Samson. Never mind that near the end it was Tarzan who killed the lion and brought down the Philistine temple." End of quote. Martha Wiens recalled attending the beginner's Sunday school class in the early 1920s with Mrs. John Unruh as teacher. Mrs. Unruh would tell them stories in Plautdeutsch, also known as Low German, even though the curriculum was in High German. So it can be said that the early Buhler Mennonite Church was trilingual. It was not uncommon to hear 3 languages spoken on any given Sunday: Low German, English, and High German. The trilingual reality was emphasized on September 13, 1922, when Buhler Mennonite Church organized its first English-speaking Sunday school class. And this was done because some of the non-German teachers from the Buhler schools regularly attended Buhler Mennonite Church services. Prizes for memorizing Bible verses is a tradition that spans the entire 100 years of Buhler Mennonite Church's Sunday school history. Martha Wiens remembered her mother tying her Sunday school collection money in the corner of her handkerchief. Imagine the Sunday school teacher untying all the children's handkerchiefs to collect the Sunday school offering. And each Sunday they would receive a small picture with a Bible verse to memorize. When they had collected and memorized 10 cards, they would exchange them for a storybook or a wall motto. The late BMC member Bertha Jansen remembered that, quote, "When I was a teenager, Mrs. Lena Dunn was our high school girls' teacher. Our class met in the choir loft. To keep us from seeing things going on in the sanctuary and to pay more attention to the teacher, a cloth curtain was made to separate us from the other classes in the pews and the boys' class in the balcony. I'll never forget what Mrs. Dunn told us one Sunday. She told us that we have a very big responsibility on the way we act and that her daughter was using us as role models. I remember teaching a first-grade Sunday school class when I was a teenager. The class met in the old kitchen in the basement. One of our lessons was on the creation, and one little girl asked me, 'What did God eat before He created food?' I hope I gave a satisfactory answer when I said, 'Well, there are some things in the Bible that we just can't understand.'" End of quote. A highlight of the Sunday school year was the Sunday school picnic, also known as Children's Day. In the early years, the Sunday morning service was held under a grove of trees in a pasture which belonged to a church member. The children provided the program after spending many hours of preparing. Church members moved tables and folding chairs from the church to use out in the pasture. There was always plenty of food, topped off by plenty of ice cream.
When I was it'd be about 1950, the church had Children's Day. And they had served a big tank full of ice cold pop in bottles. We didn't have bottled pop at home in the house at all, and man, I tapped out on that stuff. Bottle after bottle after bottle, and needless to say, later on I heaved my guts out, but it was quite. I remember distinctly the tank sitting beside the church here before the addition was built on, and it was a big event. Children's Day was, and had something to do with Sunday school and all of that too. But man, that pop was sure good till it finally topped out.
In 1974, the Sunday school picnics were moved to Camp Minnesota. Starting in 1976 until the present, the Board of Education has reserved the fourth Sunday of every June to meet at Camp Minnesota. In addition to the annual Children's Day picnic, an annual Sunday school promotion program was observed, as well as a Sunday school Christmas program. In the mid-1940s, the Education Committee helped Reverend Henry Franzen and the Board of Deacons start a Wednesday night Bible study for children. This ministry also continues until today. In December of 1947, with the church running out of Sunday school space, the church began a 7.5-year process of discussing and discerning whether to build an education wing. This resulted in a groundbreaking ceremony on August 23, 1954. The original plan was to build the education wing of wood, but the church reconsidered this when they found out that the Buhler Mennonite Church of Inman was being built of stone, concrete, and brick. These were considered fireproof materials and didn't cost that much more. Each able-bodied male was asked to donate at least 10 8-hour days of labor. The 3-level addition was completed in the summer of 1955 with a cost of $79,500 and more than 16,000 hours of volunteered labor. The education wing included 18 Sunday school rooms, a library, church office, pastor's study, a larger kitchen, and a fellowship hall with a small kitchenette. A dedication service for the education wing was held on June 19, 1955. After prayer, meditation, and other speeches, John Zilke unlocked the doors and the people on hand walked through the new addition as they entered the sanctuary on the way to worship. In the early 1980s, Barbara Friesen taught the junior high school class and Jim Suderman taught the youth Wednesday night Bible class. Both of these classes came together to make a banner to be presented to the Mennonite youth in Bogota, Colombia. In 1981, Barbara and her husband, Dr. Orlando Friesen, traveled to Colombia to visit Colombian Mennonite churches. In Bogota, they had the opportunity to present the banner which depicted friendship between the youth groups of Buhler Mennonite Church and the Central Mennonite Church of Bogota. For many years, the adult Sunday school class called Sunday School Class Number 5 sponsored a night of fun at the McPherson YMCA for the entire congregation. The annual Sunday School Christmas program is held on Christmas Eve as part of the Christmas Eve candlelighting program. Sunday School promotion is generally held on the last Sunday of August. The Junior Sunday School Department plans and leads the morning worship service, during which students and teachers are recognized for their work and their service. The first and second graders receive a Bible, and the entire junior department receives a BMC-themed t-shirt that they can wear to all BMC activities of that year. In 2020, they received a 100th anniversary t-shirt with an important verse to remember on the back of the shirt. It is found in Matthew 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. Beginning in the early 2000s, Buhler Mennonite Church began to serve supper to Wednesday night attendees before midweek activities began. This ministry continues to the present. In 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic shutdowns, it was not uncommon for over 90 people to attend a Wednesday night meal. Furthermore, it was observed that a good number of the children who attended midweek regularly did not regularly attend Sunday school or Sunday morning activities. In 2020, Sunday school and midweek activities were suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Midweek activities resumed, but with a noticeable decline in attendance. Children's Sunday school activities resumed in June of 2021. In the summer quarter of 2015, the individual adult and youth Sunday school classes began the annual practice of meeting together as one large group for the summer, for a special series of sessions ranging from mental health topics, personal faith stories, Christian service experience, and a variety of other topics. In 2021, the Sunday school hour was reduced to a half-hour session, and each of the BMC 100th video documentary segments were shown and discussed. The highest average Sunday school attendance per Sunday was 288 people. And in the late 1960s to the early 1970s, there was a dramatic drop in Sunday school attendance, and much energy and time was spent addressing this concerning trend. In 1995, average attendance was 106 people. In 2019, the reported average was 72 people per Sunday. 2021 brings on a new challenge for the Buhler Mennonite Church as the Board of Education plans for the fall quarter of children's and youth Sunday school. It will mark an attempted return back to, quote, normal ministry schedules after the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic shutdown. It also remains to be seen what the post-COVID-19 children's midweek program will look like. Challenges can be great opportunities for meaningful ministry. Just like Sunday school has not been around since the creation of the world and is a relatively new ministry, maybe the next 100 years will bring about new innovations for the church. May God grant us wisdom and the courage to respond faithfully. One thing remains certain, that no matter the form nor the method, a major reason for Buhler Mennonite Church still existing is to educate through the Word, and thereby testifying to the love and salvation of Jesus Christ.